Hi, boys and girls. I'm back with Finding Home. I'm on chapter 2. Remember, they just got to their new house and their moving truck broke down, and so they weren't able to unpack their stuff yet. They had to sleep on the floor and have pizza. And Ashley is scared of the new house. She thinks there's wolves outside and an owl, and she just doesn't like it at all. So I'm on chapter 2. Ashley is talking again. It's called Painting the Porch. The morning sun shone through the window, and Ashley yawned. Mom's coffee smell filled the air, same as it used to every morning back home. Ashley sniffed and scrunched up her nose. The smell seemed strange in this big, empty place. She groaned and sat up. Not only was the carpeted floor hard and bumpy, but that crazy owl had hooted all night. Morning. Brooke sounded tired. She leaned up on her elbow. How'd you sleep? Not good. Ashley blinked a few times. The wolves kept me awake. Brooke sat straight up. Wolves? Just then a loud beeping came from outside. Ashley gasped. The truck! She ran toward the front door and swung it wide open. The yellow moving van was backing down the long driveway with Dad guiding it closer to the house. Our things! Carrie joined them, and she and Brooke jumped around. Ashley crossed her arms. She didn't want her things here. She wanted them back in Michigan where they belonged. It's finally real. Brooke took a deep breath. Indiana air is the best. Ashley sniffed. The scent was grass and trees and hay, like the Michigan State Fair. She wrinkled her nose. Home wasn't supposed to smell like the fair. Ashley turned to her mother. Are we still painting the back porch? We are, Mom grinned. Or, I should say, you kids are. She moved to go back inside. Oh, and your dad picked up breakfast sandwiches and paper plates. They're in the kitchen. She kissed Ashley and Brooke on the top of their heads. Come eat. The other kids were awake, and Dad joined them for their first breakfast in their new house. They got to sit on the kitchen counter, which was usually not allowed. Already, Luke was talking about the pond out back on their actual property. It's perfect for tadpoles. Dad nodded. The yard is bigger than I thought. He winked at Luke. A lot to explore. Yeah. Luke had the cutest grin. I cannot wait. Brooke talked about how her room had the prettiest view for reading, and Erin said she wanted to look for wildflowers out back. Carrie pointed to the big window in the living room. I can already imagine our Christmas tree right there. Mom's voice was hopeful. I prayed you kids would wake up seeing something good here. Ashley drummed her fingers on her knee and looked around. Something good. Nothing came to mind. Dad turned to her. What about you, sweetie? So far, what's the best thing about being here? She thought for a minute. Slowly, an idea hit her. Maybe painting? The idea made her feel a little better. We get to paint the porch today. She sat a little straighter, which is the best activity for an artist. I like it, Dad laughed. I have 5 brushes and a few buckets of white paint waiting out back. He clapped his hands together. One time. Who's with Ashley? Hands in. Ashley and her siblings giggled. They jumped down from the counter and formed a circle. They each put one hand in the middle, all together, like a sports team. Dad and Mom added their hands. 1, Dad smiled at the group. 2, 3. The whole family yelled, team. Then they raised their hands in the air. Everyone out back. Dad grabbed the last sandwich. Then he turned to their mom. Elizabeth, I think we're going to love it here. He tipped his baseball cap. All right, Ash, let's go. He squatted low and Ashley hopped on his back. Porch Paint Express, here we come. He carried her to the front door. I need a whistle. Come on. Toot, toot. Ashley bumped her fist twice in the air. She laughed out loud because something wonderful was happening here in Bloomington. They were having an adventure. Sweat dripped down Ashley's face as she rested her paintbrush and looked behind her. They were getting it done. Almost 2 hours into painting, and half the porch was bright white. She wiped her forehead with her sleeve. Her siblings were slowing down, and Luke kept talking about the pond. Next to Ashley, Carrie was painting about half as fast as before. It's hot. She fanned herself a few times and tugged at the collar of her shirt, like she would do anything for some fresh air. I didn't think it would take so long. Even with the heat, Ashley wasn't tired. She loved this job. course, paint wouldn't make the place a home, but still, it was fun. She had never painted an actual building before. She dragged the brush, slow and steady, over the soft old wood. Every inch the brush touched turned bright white, like it was brand new. Dad told them whoever lived here before had sanded off the old color and probably meant to paint it, but they never did. Maybe the family was too busy cleaning up Susie's spilled nail polish. Whatever the reason, they left a perfect opportunity for the Baxters. A way to actually enjoy their first day in their new house. Ashley focused. Dip the brush, wipe it on the inside of the can, spread the paint on the smooth, worn wood. She had a system now. She bit her lip. Dip, wipe, spread. Carrie stopped and watched her. You're good at this. Thanks. Ashley felt her heart light up. It's easy. Dip, wipe, spread. Carrie nodded and smiled. I like that. She put her brush in the can and gave it a go. Dip, wipe, spread. Nice. She hesitated. How do you feel today about the move? When the painting's done, Ashley looked toward the driveway. I might jump on the truck and head back home with the movers. You should stay, Carrie sounded concerned. She kept painting. Ashley painted another stripe. Maybe. She stared at the fresh color. Dip, wipe, spread. And the words started to sound like a song. Dip, wipe, spread. Carrie began to sing along while she painted. Dip, wipe, spread. Pretty soon, Aaron and Brooke picked up the catchy tune. I said, a dip, a wipe, a spready, spread, spread. Brooke put a little rhythm into it, and that made her paint fly through the air like white raindrops. Last to catch on was Luke, who actually stood up with a paintbrush and danced around. Dip, wipe, spread. He did a spin, and that spin spun him right into his can of paint. And suddenly, no! Dad came around the corner just as Luke's can spilled white liquid across most of the unpainted porch. Luke stared at the mess. He lifted his eyes to their dad. Sorry. It's okay. I'll be back. Dad was gone in a flash. From inside, they heard him shout, We need paper towels. Brooke and Carrie and Aaron stood frozen, their hands over their mouths. Carrie was the first to speak. All that paint, she shook her head. It's everywhere. Ashley watched the river of white move and spread over the unpainted porch, and suddenly she knew just what to do. Hey! She spread her arms out. Maybe this is a good thing. Dad rounded the corner with 2 rolls of paper towels raised over his head. Quick, he handed one to Brooke. Everyone grab some. But Dad! Ashley jumped in place, dodging the streams of white coming her way. We can make beauty out of this. He didn't hear her. The other kids grabbed strips of paper towel from the 2 rolls. Finally, Ashley raised her voice. Hey, family, wait a minute. Ash, Dad shot her a frustrated look. Help us. If only she had a whistle. Ashley put her hands on her hips. Someone, please listen. Maybe it was her tone or maybe the way she was standing, but all at once everyone turned to her. This was her chance. We're supposed to paint the porch, and now there's paint everywhere. She gave a slight grin. Let's forget the paper towel, she shrugged. How about we take our brushes and we spread the paint? Her dad blinked twice, and then a slow smile moved up his face. Brilliant, he laughed. Then he gathered up the sections of paper and put them on the nearby porch swing. Why didn't I think of that? Luke let out a big breath. So, I did a good thing? I think so, Dad grinned. Everyone, grab your paintbrush and start moving the paint around. Let's see what happens. Mom stepped out back and saw what was happening. This looks like fun. She grabbed a fresh paintbrush from inside and lowered herself to the spot beside Ashley. Pretty soon the whole family was moving globs of paint down and around the wooden floor. Mom laughed. This might be the fastest anyone's ever finished a porch. Yes! Luke raised his brush over his head. A dozen white drops hit his hair and his blue shirt. I did a good thing. I really did. Ashley worked as fast as she could. There was no dip, wipe, spread this time. They had to push the spilled paint over the porch before it dried. And the plan worked. The porch was becoming snowy white before their eyes. But that wasn't all that was becoming white. Ashley looked up from her section, and what she saw made her giggle. Daddy's got paint on his nose, she laughed a little more, and Mom and Luke have it in their hair. Dad sat painting and wiped at his nose, but that only made the white drop become a smear all across his cheek. At the same time, Brooke and Carrie and Aaron and Mom and Luke seemed to notice paint on their knees and arms and faces. Ashley, too. The porch was looking beautiful, but the entire family was covered in paint. Mom stood and held out her sticky white arms. She had even more paint in her hair and on her forehead. I am covered. I say let's finish. Dad grinned at the rest of them. We can clean up later. This porch is almost done. In hardly any time, the porch was finished, bright white and brand new. Twice as fast as Ashley drip wipe spread method, she and her family stepped onto the grass and admired their work. Nice thinking, Ashley. He patted her shoulder. Only Daddy's little artist could make something special out of a spill. Happiness spread through Ashley's heart. Daddy's little artist. She liked that title. Brooke ran and got the paper towels from the porch swing. We need these more than the porch ever did. Everyone laughed and wiped off whatever paint they could. Mom and Dad were still laughing as they headed toward the house with the dirty paint-soaked towels. Good job, team. Mom looked back. You kids take a break and explore. I'll make some lunch. Dad grabbed one of the half-empty cans of paint. I'll finish the edges. He smiled at them. You kids go on. Brooke took charge and led the siblings away from the porch. Where are we going? Ashley scratched the paint drying on her arms and cheek. Those trees. Brooke pointed to the far end of the property. I want to see what's back there. Maybe there's treasure. Aaron started skipping. Or a portal to Wonderland. Luke jumped in the air. Or maybe a bat cave. Ashley turned around and looked at the freshly painted porch where her dad was working. She could still see the white streak of paint on his cheek, and a quiet laugh bubbled up from her heart. Whatever fun things they did on the porch in the weeks and months and years to come, Ashley would always remember one thing. Her whole family covered in paint and turning a spill into something special, a mistake into a marvelous moment. Ash, Carrie called for the rest of the group. Come on. All right. She turned and ran to catch up. As she did, she realized that something very special had happened, something she hadn't expected. Ashley Baxter had made her very first Bloomington memory. That's the end of chapter 2.